So I have this really funny story time about how someone attempted to rob me at the bank. So the customer comes in, he comes to my station, and he passes me this note. First sign I should have known something was wrong. He passes me the note, and I open it, and it says, give me $5,000 or I'm going to go NWA on your ass. I didn't know what NWA meant. So I look at him, I'm like, what does NWA mean? And then he just looks at me, he's like, just give me the $5,000. So then I ask him, I say, please swipe your debit card. Like, at this point, I should have known he didn't have an account with us, but I'm like, sir, like, I can't give you money unless you swipe your card. Like, I can't access your account. You don't have your ID. Like, you have to swipe your card. So then he looks at me. He's like, I don't have an account here. You have to take it out of 50 Cent, Kanye West account. I don't care whose account you got to take it out of. You got to give me $5,000. So I look at my manager. And after my manager's like, if you don't have an account here, we can't help you. He looks at me dead in the eyes and says this. If you don't give me $5,000, I'm going to go home, grab my gun, come here, and shoot you both in the...
Can you solve?
Recently, my 54-year-old dad and my 52-year-old mom have divorced. This wasn't a surprise to me, though. However, a week after the divorce was finalized, my father got a new girlfriend named Sophia, who's 26. I wasn't mad, but I felt like it was a little too soon. At the end of the day, though, it's not my business, but I told my dad I couldn't accept her as my new stepmother as it was too soon and she was only 2 years older than me. He said this was okay, but he hopes in the future I can come around to it. Eventually, my 3-year-old twins met my dad's girlfriend and they didn't like her. They were asking me stuff like, who is she, and other questions. After she noticed my kids' favoritism towards their biological grandmother, she yelled at me and told me I was raising my kids wrong because they don't treat her like that. I calmly told her that they would eventually come around, but she wouldn't listen and kicked me out of my dad's house. A few weeks later, my husband and I found out that I was pregnant. We wanted to wait a while to tell my family that the next family dinner, I told everyone the news. Everyone was happy for me and my husband, but especially my dad's girlfriend. Keep in mind, she still hadn't apologized for her outburst, and I still felt like I couldn't accept her, so when she started saying things such as, I can't wait for my grandbaby, I felt a little uncomfortable, but assumed she just liked babies. That was until she decided that if it was a girl, then we would call her Elia after her grandmother, or if it was a boy, then Samuel after her granddad. I flat out told her no as I had never met them, and she blew up in anger. She's like, recently, my 54-year-old
Am I the asshole for not leaving with my newborn twins and toddler while my sister had a meeting? I, 23 female, have a 2-year-old son and 2-month-old twins. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my sister, 25 female, who is in grad school, has been staying with us while her apartment building gets fumigated. She had a meeting with one of her professors to talk about some stuff regarding a project and set her laptop up in the kitchen. It's worth noting that the kitchen is right off the children's play area / bedroom. And she also has a bedroom all to herself that has a desk and the Wi-Fi is decent in it. About 5 minutes into her meeting, my 2-year-old, who was playing with his toy trucks, got hurt and started crying. He wasn't even having a tantrum, just crying because he got hurt. After a few minutes, my sister excuses herself from her meeting for a moment and yells at me to take the kids out of the house and that she needs total silence. I told her I wasn't going to take my 3 small children out by myself. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for catfishing my underage sister on Tinder and humiliating her in order to teach her a lesson? Last week, I was using my younger sister's phone because mine was dead and I needed to call a friend. Dialing my friend's number, I saw a Tinder notification of some dude messaging her. Immediately, I asked her why she's on Tinder. She's 17, and she grabbed her phone back and said, none of your business. I decided as her big brother that I wanted to have a little fun with this. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's just swiping for fun, so I didn't want to go straight to ratting her out to our parents. To test if she was just using for fun, I decided I was going to make a Tinder profile of someone else and message her to see if she responds. I asked a good friend of mine from back in college, who happens to be a male model, if he'd mind if I use his pictures and explain the situation. He thought it would be hilarious and told me to go for it. I created the account, set my age to 22, set my swipe radius to a mile, and quickly found my sister's account. Her age was set to 19. Lie, she's still in high school. So I was definitely more suspicious of her now. I super liked, and less than an hour later, she matched and messaged me. I decided to set up a date to a fancy restaurant downtown for Sunday afternoon and told her hour later, she matched and messaged me. I decided to set up a date to a fancy restaurant downtown for Sunday afternoon and told her we could head to my place afterwards. She was completely receptive and said she'd meet me there. She told our parents she was hanging out with one of her track friends and spending the night at her place. After she left, I told our parents everything and showed them all of the messages. They were pissed, and I suggested we all go to the restaurant. My dad and I just went instead and saw her sitting at a table alone, all dolled up waiting for Jim. My dad went up to her and said, Jim's not coming, and she screamed and asked what we were doing there. I told her there was no Jim and that it was effing stupid of her to try to be meeting grown men on Tinder at that age. My dad harped onto that and lectured her about lying and meeting strange men on the internet and being so willing to go back to a stranger's place. We were a bit loud, so people were starting to look at us, and my sister eventually bursted into tears and ran out. I told my friends in a group chat the situation, and they all agreed it was hysterical, except 2 of my female friends who said I was an asshole and cruel to her. My other friends defended me and said she needed to be taught a lesson. Now I've been wondering who's right and maybe if I went too far. Am I the asshole for fake sleeping all night to see if my wife is lying? The past couple of months, my wife has been complaining about our cats. She's been claiming that the cats wake her up constantly and that she's frustrated every night that she has to get up and open the door for the cats. Or the cats keep making noises, or the cats keep jumping on her. It got me to the point where she started saying she wants me to get rid of them. I've told her I've never seen or heard any of this, but she claims I sleep through it all. She kept telling me that she was getting less and less sleep and kept acting aggressive, blaming lack of sleep from the cats and that if I didn't get rid of them, she'd leave me. I legitimately started considering giving the cats to my sister until I noticed something. One morning, she claimed she had gotten up multiple times throughout the night to help the cats. She listed a bunch of times. I thought it was weird because I had been up until 4 a.m. and she claimed that she got up at 1 a.m. to open the door for them and a few times around 3 a.m. because they were meowing and jumping on her. I was in the bedroom the entire time while she slept, and I know none of this happened. Things were adding up, so I decided to run a test. I waited until she said she was going to bed, then I let the cats out of our bedroom. I lowered my phone brightness and faked going to sleep. I just lay there in my bed for the entire night. Am I the
asshole for leaving a family gathering because my family made me sit at the kids' table? For context, I haven't seen my full family together in quite some time, so they set up a get-together at a park today. The family gathering includes me, 22 male, my brother, 21, my sister, 25, her husband, 29, and their 2 kids. My dad, stepmom, and her kids, 6 and 9, aunt, uncle, my 2 cousins, 15 and 20, grandma, grandpa. I get there with some picnic items. I brought a quiche and the cups, and see a few members setting up. I say hi and help set up the tables and set the food out. We talk and play games while the others show up. When everyone gets there, we sit down to eat. I sit next to my dad and get a weird look from my aunt as she says to me, "This is the adults' table." To which I reply, "I'm an adult." She tells me that the first and second generations are considered adult and the third and fourth generations should sit at the kids' table since we, quote, don't have much to contribute to adult conversations.
Oh, wow.
I tell her I can drink, that I drove here, that I pay rent and have a job. So how am I considered a child? She says that until I have kids of my own, I'll have to sit at the kids' table. According to my aunt, there are 8 children, ages 6 through 22, and 8 adults, ages 25 through 75. So I should just sit at the kids' table since it'll be even. But there is plenty of space at the adult table, and I don't want to be stuck with 5 literal children. She still disagrees, and at this point, my uncle and grandparents back her up. So...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I say, fuck it. Take my quiche back, tell them to have a nice day, and drive away.
In this circumstance, yeah, I would leave too. 100%.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I think my boyfriend's brother has a crush on me. I, 18 female, have been living with my 19 male boyfriend and his family for 6 months now. I have a suspicion that his 20 male brother has a crush on me. My boyfriend works long hours and is in the U.S. National Guard as well. So there are times that I am home when my boyfriend is not. I found that during these times, his brother seems to talk to me more often and hang around me more. My boyfriend is away right now with the military, working 7 days, and some nights he sleeps over there. Well, the nights he has slept over, his brother comes into my room and tries talking to me for hours on end. I don't want to be rude and tell him to leave me alone. I try to act annoyed or tired so he will leave, but it never seems to work. As I'm writing this now, I am with my boyfriend's family, with the exception of my boyfriend, in a car. The brother and I are in the back seat, and he reached over and tickled my thigh. What? He's done stuff like this before, teasing me, and it makes me super uncomfortable. I don't know how to say something to him or my boyfriend. The brother has literally told me he wants a girlfriend who is like me. Am I being crazy, or am I catching the wrong vibe?